An old grocery store, a mysterious woman in black, and a secret buried for over 20 years. What started as an ordinary evening turned into a chilling encounter that would haunt him forever. Who was she? What did she want? And what horrifying truth was waiting in the dark? This is not just a story, it is a memory that refuses to die. It was late afternoon when the sky over the village turned a deep, smoky orange. The sun slipped behind the buildings like it was hiding from something. The old man, Haroon, stood behind the wooden counter of his small grocery store. His hands smelled of turmeric and dust, and his shirt clung to him from the weight of the day's heat. Flies buzzed lazily near a basket of aging mangoes. The air was thick, heavy, as though it held a secret. The bells on the shop door jingled softly. Haroon looked up and paused. A woman had entered, and she was unlike anyone who usually came to the shop. She wore a flowing black abaya, with a veil that revealed only her dark, expressive eyes. Her presence silenced the shop. Even the old radio in the corner crackled and fell mute. She moved slowly, each step deliberate, her gaze scanning the shelves. Haroon felt his throat dry as dust. He had seen many people walk through his door in 40 years, but never anyone like her. The scent of rosewater floated in after her, gentle and haunting. He asked if she needed help. Her voice was soft, like silk sliding across glass. "Only a little rice," she said, "and some cumin if you have it." He nodded, reaching for the items with shaking fingers. As he turned to hand her the bag, his eyes caught something. A small patch of red, just beneath the hem of her sleeve. It looked like blood, fresh and wet. His breath caught in his throat. He stared, heart pounding in his chest. She noticed. Her eyes locked onto his, unblinking. She slowly pulled her sleeve down, covering the stain. "I must go now," she said, her tone unchanged. Haroon did not respond. She placed money on the counter, exact change. He did not move to take it. The bells on the door jingled again as she left. Outside, the wind picked up, throwing dust into the air. Haroon stood frozen. He could still smell the rosewater. And something else. Iron. He stepped outside, squinting into the fading light. The street was empty. No footsteps. No figure in black. Just the hum of distant traffic and the slow creak of his store's sign in the breeze. He looked down at the money she had left. It was damp and stained red. He felt the air press tighter against his chest. A chill rolled down his spine. Something had followed her into that shop. And now it was still here. Haroon backed away from the counter, his feet uncertain on the worn wooden floor. The light in the store flickered once, then held steady. He reached for the money with trembling hands. It felt cold. Colder than anything should have been in that heat. His fingertips brushed the red stain. Sticky. His breath came shallow, ragged. He turned the coin over. There was something etched on it. Not in any language he knew. Curved lines, sharp corners, almost like scratches from claws. He dropped it. The sound of metal hitting would echoed like a scream. From the corner of the store, a shadow shifted. There was nothing there, but he felt it, watching. The old shelves creaked softly, as though under the weight of unseen hands. Haroon stepped back, heart slamming in his chest. He called out, "Who is there?" No answer. Only the low hum of the fridge and the sound of his own heartbeat. He looked to the door. Still open. Still swinging slightly. The wind outside had stopped. Everything was still. Too still. He reached for the phone behind the counter. But the line was dead. Only silence. And then, the lights blinked out. In the dark, something breathed. Not him. It was deep. Wet. Clothes. He turned, slowly. The smell of rosewater had changed. Now it was mixed with rot, like flowers left too long in water. He reached for the flashlight beneath the counter. His fingers found it, fumbled, turned it on. The beam cut through the dark and landed on a single handprint on the wall. Blood red, still wet, but it was too high to reach from the floor, too wide to be human. The air thickened, pressing against his ears. Something moved behind the cereal shelf.
Fast.
Too fast. Haroon backed toward the door, flashlight trembling in his grip. A whisper rose from the shadows. His name. It said his name. Not like a question. Like a promise. Haroon. He froze. The door slammed shut. The slam echoed like thunder through the tiny store. Haroon jumped, dropping the flashlight. It spun on the floor, casting wild circles of light across the walls. Jars glinted. Shadows danced. His breath came in gasps now, chest rising and falling like waves in a storm. He reached for the flashlight, but something skittered past his hand. A blur. Cold wind whipped through the store, though no window was open. He stood slowly, hands outstretched, heart pounding so loud it drowned every other sound. Then, footsteps.
Soft. Bare.
Behind him. He turned slowly, pulse hammering in his throat. She was standing there, the woman in black. Her veil was gone, and where her face should have been, there was nothing. Just smooth skin. No eyes. No nose. No mouth. Haroon staggered backward, crashing into a stack of rice bags. They spilled to the floor, grains scattering like bones. She did not move, just watched. Or he felt her watching. His voice caught in his throat.
He tried to speak.
To pray. To scream. But no sound came out. Then she raised her hand.
Slowly.
Deliberately. There was something in it. A photo.
Old. Worn.
She held it out. He took it, hand shaking. It was a picture of him. And his wife. But the woman beside him was not the woman he had married. It was her. The woman in black. And she was smiling. Her face clear. Her eyes bright. His knees buckled. He had never seen this photo in his life. But the handwriting on the back. It was his. The date written was 20 years ago. And the words said, *forgive me. I had no choice. *. Haroon's vision blurred. His hand trembled as he read the words again. *forgive me. I had no choice. His own handwriting. But no memory of writing it. No memory of her. The woman in black stepped closer. The air grew colder with each step. Like winter had crept into the bones of the store. The lights above flickered violently, casting her in a stuttered, broken glow. She raised her other hand now. Her fingers opened. A small object dropped into his palm. A wedding ring.
His.
But he was still wearing his. He looked down. It was gone. The ring in his hand was identical.
Scratched. Worn.
Inscribed on the inside with 2 letters. H.A. Haroon and Amina. His heart stopped. Amina. He had not spoken that name in 20 years. He had buried it. Buried her. Along with the truth. His knees hit the floor. The room spun. Memories rushed back in flashes. A stormy night. A scream. The look in her eyes as she fell. The silence afterward. He had lied. To the village. To himself. He had said she ran away. Vanished. But he knew. He always knew. The walls of the store seemed to close in. Her faceless head tilted slightly, as if asking, "Do you remember now?" Haroon could not speak. He could only nod. The air grew still. So still it hurt his ears. And then, she reached for him. Touched his chest with one finger. His heart stuttered under her touch. And in a voice that sounded like broken glass and whispering wind, she said, "Time to finish what was left undone." Haroon's body seized with a jolt. Pain shot through his chest like ice cracking bone. His eyes widened, but he could not scream. He could only feel the weight, the regret, the truth clawing its way up from where he had buried it. The walls around him groaned, old with straining under a pressure that was not physical. Bottles tipped from shelves. Spices spilled like sand through a broken hourglass. The store, the life he had built to forget, was unraveling.
Piece by piece.
Her fingers still pressed against his chest, cold as the grave. He tried to move, to pull away, but his limbs were heavy, like they were no longer his. Her voice came again.
Low.
Terrible. You made a promise. His mind raced. Fragments. An oath whispered in the dark. A vow made in panic, in guilt. "I will never leave you," he had told her, "even in death." She had smiled when he said it. And now she had returned to collect on those words. A sound filled the store, low and rising. A wail. Not human, not alive. It poured from the shelves, the walls, the floor itself.
Haroon's ears rang.
He dropped to all fours, gasping. The ring fell from his hand, spinning once before coming to rest. The photo fluttered to the ground beside it. He looked up. She was no longer standing. She was floating, her abaya lifted by a wind that did not touch anything else. Her arms opened wide, and behind her, a darkness. Moving, breathing, opening. It was not a shadow. It was a door, and it was waiting for him. Haroon stared into the darkness. It pulsed, alive, like a great mouth waiting to swallow. He felt its pull deep in his chest, stronger than fear, stronger than will. The woman hovered above the ground, still, her face blank, but somehow full of sorrow. Not anger, not vengeance, just sorrow. He looked at her one last time, and through the faceless mask, he saw Amina. Not as she had died, but as she had lived. Laughing in the garden, behind their old home. Placing jasmine in her hair. Holding his hand beneath a moonlit sky. His eyes welled with tears. "I remember," he whispered. "I am sorry." The darkness behind her flickered. Not with rage. With understanding. She lowered slowly, feet touching the floor. The wind stopped. The store held its breath. She stepped forward. Held out her hand. He took it. And for the first time in decades, warmth returned to his fingers. Together, they turned toward the waiting door. Haroon did not look back. He did not need to. Everything he had clung to, regret, guilt, lies, he left behind in that old store. He crossed the threshold with her, and the door closed.
Softly.
Outside, the sky was clear. A soft breeze stirred the dust. And inside the quiet shop, the lights flickered once, then held steady, as if nothing had happened at all.